Everything you are experiencing right now has already happened. This sentence, this sound, this moment, all of it is over by the time you become aware of it. Not by much, but by enough. And the gap between what is happening and what you experience as happening is not a flaw in your brain. It is not a malfunction. It is one of the most deliberate and unsettling things your mind does every single second of your life. Without it, you could not function. Without it, reality would be chaos. But nobody told you it was happening, and once you understand it, you cannot unsee it. Think about the last time you caught something before it hit the floor. A glass slipping off a table, a phone tumbling from your hand. You moved fast, you caught it, and afterward you thought you had good reflexes. But you did not react to the present, you responded to the past. By the time your brain sent the signal to move your hand, the glass was already somewhere it had been 80 milliseconds ago. Your brain simply ran a prediction so fast that you never noticed the delay. That gap is always there, in every single moment you experience, in every conversation you have, in everything you think you are seeing right now. Your entire conscious life has been lived inside it. And the science behind why this happens will permanently change how you think about your own mind. In the 1960s, a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet began studying a question that seemed almost too simple to be interesting. How long does it take for the brain to become conscious of something? The answer turned out to be deeply strange. When you touch something, signals travel from your skin up your spinal cord and into your brain. That journey takes time, roughly 50 to 100 milliseconds, depending on how far the signal must travel. Your fingertips are close to your brain. Your feet are far. A tall person experiences a longer delay than a short one, which means the felt experience of stepping on something arrives later for a 2-meter-tall person than for someone who is 1.5 meters. Your experience of the present is not even consistent across your own body. But even after the signal arrives at the brain, additional processing is required before you become aware of it. The total delay between an event occurring and you consciously experiencing it is approximately 80 milliseconds. For complex visual information, it can reach 150 milliseconds or more. That number sounds small, but consider what 80 milliseconds actually means. A single blink of your eye takes between 150 and 400 milliseconds. The moment this sentence ended, you experienced it as ending about 80 to 150 milliseconds after it actually did. You are never in the present. You are always watching a very recent recording of it. But what nobody expected was that your brain already knows about this delay and has been running a solution so sophisticated that you have spent your entire life completely unaware it was operating. Because the brain cannot afford to show you the world with a delay, it does something remarkable. It predicts. Your brain does not passively receive information from the world around you. It actively anticipates what is coming next, then corrects its prediction once the actual data arrives. Neuroscientists call this predictive processing. It runs constantly, in every room you walk into, every face you look at, every word you think you hear before the speaker finishes saying it. When you reach for a cup of coffee, your brain has already simulated the weight of it before your fingers make contact. When someone starts a sentence, your brain has already predicted the probable ending before their mouth forms the last word. It fills the delay with educated guesses. And most of the time, those guesses are accurate enough that you never see the seam between prediction and reality. This is what makes optical illusions so genuinely disorienting. They are not tricks your eyes play on you. They are moments where your brain's predictions fail to match the incoming data, and you see the failure happening in real time. One of the clearest demonstrations is something called the flash lag effect. If a light flashes at the exact moment a moving object passes directly beside it, you will not perceive them as aligned. The moving object appears to be slightly ahead, because your brain has already moved the object forward in its prediction. The flash is unexpected new data. The moving object was already being anticipated. Your brain is not showing you the world. It is showing you its best current model of the world, continuously updated. But what nobody expected was what happens when your different senses try to agree on when something happened, and what your brain does to paper over the disagreement. Sound travels through air at about 340 meters per second, Light travels at 300 million meters per second. For any event happening at a distance, you see it before you hear it. A lightning strike, a bat hitting a ball, a distant explosion. The further away it is, the larger the gap. But inside your skull, those two signals also arrive at consciousness at different speeds. Visual information takes slightly longer to process than auditory information. The two streams do not reach awareness simultaneously. They arrive in sequence, by different routes, processed by different regions of the brain. And yet you experience the world as perfectly synchronized. The sound of two hands clapping matches the sight of the hands meeting. A voice matches the lips producing it. You would notice instantly if something were wrong, but the raw signals were never in sync to begin with. Your brain holds incoming information in a short buffer and waits. It collects signals across a window of roughly 80 milliseconds and then presents them to your consciousness as if they happened at precisely the same instant. Scientists call this temporal binding. Everything inside that window gets merged into a single perceived moment, regardless of when it actually arrived. This is why, when you watch a film and the audio is slightly out of sync, something feels profoundly wrong even before you can name the problem. Your brain's binding system is detecting an inconsistency it was built to erase. But what nobody expected was what happens when researchers directly test where decisions come from and what that reveals about who is actually making them. In the 1970s, Libet ran the experiment that changed the field forever. He asked volunteers to watch a fast-moving clock and flick their wrist at any moment they freely chose. The only instruction was to note where the clock hand was the moment they felt the urge to move. At the same time, he measured electrical activity in their brains. The brain began preparing for the movement approximately 300 to 500 milliseconds before the person reported feeling the urge to act. The neural signal came first. The conscious experience of deciding came after. The decision appeared in the brain before it appeared in your awareness. This finding has been replicated many times with increasingly precise equipment. In more recent studies, researchers using fMRI scanning were able to predict a person's choice up to 10 seconds before the person became consciously aware of having made it. 10 seconds. You experience yourself as deciding, then acting, but the sequence appears to run the other way. Your brain acts and then sends a notification that you call a decision. But what nobody expected was what this reveals about the nature of the present moment itself, and whether the thing you call now actually exists. Philosophers have spent centuries arguing about the present. Neuroscience has given that debate a specific, uncomfortable answer. The present does not exist as a point in time. It exists as a window. Your brain assembles experience in chunks lasting approximately 2 to 3 seconds. Everything that happens within that window gets woven together into what feels like a single coherent moment, a felt sense of now. Neuroscientists call this the subjective present. But the subjective present is not the same as the objective present. The objective present is the razor-thin edge between past and future. It has no duration. It cannot be experienced because experiencing anything at all requires time to pass. The moment you begin perceiving something, that something is already behind you. The now you live in is a construction, a continuously assembled film edited from footage that is already slightly old. It feels seamless because your brain is an extraordinary editor, but it is never the thing itself. You have never experienced the present, not once, in your entire life. Every moment of conscious experience you have ever had was a memory formed so quickly that it felt like now. Here is the piece of this that I genuinely cannot stop thinking about. In 2008, scientists studying the delay between neural signals and conscious awareness calculated something unexpected. The lag is not uniform across the brain. Different regions report their results to consciousness at slightly different times, and the brain, rather than presenting them as they arrive, waits, collects, and then backdates the experience to make it feel simultaneous. Your brain is not just delaying your experience of the present, it is also quietly editing the timestamps. When you feel certain that two things happened at exactly the same moment, a sound and a sight, a touch and a visual flash, that certainty was manufactured. Your brain decided, after the fact, that they were simultaneous, and it rewrote your experience to match that decision before handing it to your consciousness. You are not perceiving reality. You are perceiving your brain's most recent, carefully edited summary of reality. And that summary is always, without exception, a moment behind. You have spent your entire life believing you were watching events unfold in real time. You were not. You have been living inside a slight but permanent displacement from the world, a displacement so smooth, so precisely maintained, that it took centuries of science to detect it. Your brain is not a window to the world. It is the world's most seamless reconstruction system, and it has been running in the background every second you have been alive without ever asking for your permission or your awareness. I want to know, does this change how you think about a decision you felt certain was yours, about a memory you trust completely, about what it even means to choose something in the moment? Tell me in the comments. I read all of them. And if this made you question something you were sure of this morning, you know what to do.